What's up, Slay Nation? Justin Courier here, Kayak Series Director, upstate New York, with Josh Fusen, the
What's
other
going on?
director. What's up, Josh?
What's up, everyone?
I had to delay it like an extra 30 seconds so I could share it to the page, and I think that's all good. So, all right, man. Hey, man, I am exhausted after Cayuga. I don't know about you. That was an awesome weekend, though.
It was definitely a long weekend with the some of the issues I had on the way down. So
Yeah, yeah, we had it was an eventful weekend. We'll say that. So. We'll let everybody get on here for a few minutes, but we're definitely going to have a recap of the Cayuga Lake event this weekend, our Slay Nation event, live event number 3. We'll also talk about the Hovey BOF standings and how those played out through day 2, and a couple of the anglers, or a bunch of the anglers that fish in Slay Nation, New York and PA, and the College Series, and see how they did. So we'll cover that, and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming event in Tucker Lake, one of my favorite lakes to fish. Probably my second favorite lake in all the Adirondacks besides Cranberry. It's Tucker Lake. So hopefully everybody comes out. If you haven't fished Tucker Lake, you're definitely going to want to come fish this place. Just the views alone, with some big bass in your pictures, and the views that you'll see. It's definitely worth the drive up to the Adirondacks for that one, don't you think?
I know I take a picture of the mountains every single time I'm out there.
Yeah, it's pretty special out there. So, and it helps when you got a bunch of 18 to 20s laying around that you can play with. So it's always a fun time.
We're not. It's not going to see 22 and a quarter like the Hobie
Yeah,
did on Cayuga, but there's still going to be some big fish caught out there.
yeah. So there's quite a few. I'd say. What do you think? 5 to 6 pounders. Like is a lot of the bigger
Oh,
ones.
easy,
Yeah,
easy.
not as many. You're not going to see 8, 9 pounders in there. At least I've never seen one. But if you catch one, make sure to show it to us. But a lot of fives. There's like quite a few fives. A lot of fours in there. Uh, Great lake. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. But first, we got to get some of the dirty laundry out of the way from the weekend, and then we'll go into the standings a little bit, talk about that. But if you want to get going with that, yeah, we had several. What do you want to call what people do? I would say what 5, 6, 7 people that contacted us, if not more.
Something like that. Yeah.
So uh, this is my first tournament in 3 years of doing this that we've had this many issues in a tournament. So we got to talk about it. We got to get it out of the way. Um, it's just something that we got to deal with. So we'll just cut right to it. Cut and dry. There's no sugarcoating some of this because some of this is just crazy to even have to deal with at this point. Uh, you expect some things with maybe new anglers to the tournament fishing and kayak fishing, but for experienced anglers, we know better than some of this stuff. So, but now we got to touch on it again. We'll cover it real quick before we get into the standings and how that went down. First issue was we had a couple complaints on more than one. I think at least 2, maybe 3 people that did not have any type of lights on their kayak during the tournament. Uh, Cayuga Lake, man, we started wicked early, just like the last 2 tournaments. It's a little bit dark when we start. My first cast is pretty much good to go, but in a tournament with 150 people on the water between the 2 events, it's even more reason that you need a light on. 360 light preferably, but if you have a motor, it's not even our rules at that point. It's a state law that you have to have navigation lights on your kayak. Uh, and at least 2 of the anglers that I know that were found not doing that, they both had motors on them. So it's just crazy to me. You got a motor and you don't have one thing to not have a 360 light, but to not have your red and green navigation lights. It's against the law. So we don't know exactly who did that. Have a suspicion, but you got to have your lights, man. They're cheap. If you want to make a do-it-yourself version, do it. Just make sure that you're visible to everybody around you in a 360 version. Uh,
I know. I saw a how-to video for $10 to make your own 360 nav light.
yeah, I mean, I used to use. Maybe I'll put a link on the Facebook page at some point. But I found a couple years ago I was using some kind of Coast Guard approved light, and I just taped it to my the top of a PVC pole, and I was good to go. And it worked great. So hey, there's Chris. What's up, Nielsen? So you got to have your 360 light. Um, if if you get caught without it, and we find out who you are, you can get disqualified. It's almost a guarantee you will get disqualified. But this right here that Al's talking about, the Guardian Angel, that's what I use right there. That thing is amazing. It's a little expensive. I got a discount if you guys want one on that. Just get a hold of me. Uh, that is the way to go if I recommend anything to anybody. I have that along with navigation lights built in my kayak and yak lights, so that way I'm covered on there. But yeah, definitely you got to have your 360 lights, man. It's in the rules. Talk about it in the captain's meeting. It's a safety issue. So, anything you want to talk about with that?
I know, like if you're in a bind, even Walmart has cheap lights, and if you get to the ramp and something happens and your nav light goes out, everybody's carrying for the most part headlamps. Have your headlamp on, aim it up or something. Figure out a way to rig it up. Like there's all sorts of different things you can do to try and still
Yeah.
be visible out there. I know people forget to change batteries. My light, the bulbs itself died. I didn't have time to go try and get a new one in before the tournament. I reached out to Justin and said, "Hey, you got another one, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Let me borrow it." This is a great community. If something's wrong with yours, reach out. I'm sure somebody else might have something you can use, even if you can't get one in time for a tourney. So let's just be safe out there. It's for your safety. It's for everyone else's safety. I know nobody wants to run over somebody on the water and cause any serious issue because they couldn't see them.
Yep. All right, man. So I think we got that one covered. Next big issue was this one really bothers me, man, that people are even doing this because I didn't think that was a big issue, but people were fishing before lines in. Lines in was at 5:30. I've got at least three people that I know of, two or three people that I know of that were fishing at like 5:11, and then another guy fishing at 5:29 because he said his watch was at 5:31. Everybody else around him had 5:29. He had 5:31. I can make
I
my
mean,
watch do whatever it wants to. Doesn't mean
it
it's right.
was that one was to me. He was on the other side of the bridge where I was at, and he starts casting at 5:29, and I'm looking at my phone still. He's like, "What? It's 5:30." I said, "No, it's 5:29." He's like, "Well, my phone says 5:31 and keeps fishing." Now, I wasn't close enough to him to get a decent picture. I don't recognize him. I'm assuming somebody from the Hobie, but I'm not sure either. We had a lot of guys that signed up for our events. It's you know, I always myself check. I've got my watch, I've got my phone, and I've got my fish finder. I look at the fish finder when that says 6 o'clock or 5:30, whatever it is. I still pull up my phone and double check the phone says the same thing before I cast.
Yeah. And
So I
then
mean,
like the other one, somebody actually approached him, the one that was casting like 5:11 or something, like wicked early, 20 minutes early. And when he got called out on it, he ended up having to call the Hobie director, and he dealt with that as he needed to. So just know the times that you got to be fishing, man, because it doesn't even make sense to do that, especially when you're doing it right in front of people. So pretty much just end of that conversation right there. We good on that one?
yeah,
All right. So those are those two. Next couple kind of are going to be grouped together. We are not going to call anybody out by names, but we did have quite a few people that complained about certain individuals in the tournament. Those individuals were in Slay Nation only, and because of what they did, they were DQ'd for this tournament. So basically, what happened was two of the anglers launched past the lock, way down river somewhere. I know if anybody watched the captain's meeting, I said you cannot launch outside the lock system. So they also did not watch the captain's meeting. I'm a pretty easygoing guy most of the time when it comes to this stuff with directing, and Josh knows, Josh, my dad, both knows more than anybody besides my wife how much I put into this club. So it bothers me if people are going to just not watch a 15-minute video, and that's all it takes to be able to get all the info I have out to you. It's hard to give out info to 68 people in a tournament if I have to text every single one of you all the different rules that we're going by. That's what the captain's meeting is for. That's why you guys have to watch them. And even if I tell you something 2 weeks before a tournament, that can change. And the captain's meeting the night before is the final say. So you have to watch the captain's meeting. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's on Tourney X. It's in our rule book. There's never been a question about that. So
So
not watching the captain's meeting and then not using approved launches is a huge issue, because then you are now fishing in spots where other people had planned to fish who are going to take time to get there and doing things the right way. It's people that paid $300 to get into a tournament this weekend with Hobie, and their money is thrown out the damn window because people are fishing against the rules and getting a competitive advantage. And I don't care what anybody says, mistake or not, it's a competitive advantage when you launch on top of fish on beds when other people can't launch there because they have to go through a lock system. That's why we go over the stuff in the captain's meeting. That's why we put it in the rules. That's why Hobie went over in the rules. And even if you're not in the Hobie, we said we are going by the Hobie rules. We allowed Harris launch and Wolfie's Park or Wolfie's launch, and that's it. Other than that, we went by the Hobie launches for the most part. If you did have one like that outside the lock that you thought maybe you want to use, there was no reason not to ask me about it. No reason to say this specific launch we've never used in our life. Nobody's ever used it in a tournament with us. Is it okay to use? That's as simple as it could have been to avoid all this. Instead, we got a bad taste in our mouth from several anglers in our club and people in the Hobie event that came all the way to New York, spend $1,000 to get lodged and do a Hobie event, put all the time that they did in practice, and then by the time they get to their spot, tournament morning, their spot's blown up. It's kind of bullshit. And I wasn't even the one that, trust me, I had no fish in practice. But it pisses me off because then to say that I allowed people to do this is complete lies. I never told anybody to do that. The captain's meeting is clear that you cannot launch outside the lock. So don't anybody in this series ever put words in my mouth that I said something that I didn't say. That's all I'm going to say about that. The rest of it is going to be handled privately between the directors and those individuals. But I'm kind of tired of the bullshit at this point. I put way too much time and work into this. I got 3 kids and a wife that I spend time away from to do this for everybody. And then for people to throw me under the bus is kind of bullshit. And now I have to deal with disqualifying some people that are supposed to be my friends. So that makes it even worse for me to do that to my friends. People I've fished with for multiple years. And now I got to deal with this. So we will deal with that. So if you were affected by that, I apologize. We're dealing with that. I promise you that. And that's all I'm going to say. And that's the last I'm going to talk about it. Please don't anybody message me about it. I don't want to talk about it after this. Unless you're that individual. But that's my take on it. Josh, you can have your take on it and then we'll move on.
I mean, you pretty much covered most of it. The biggest thing I'm going to say, guys, is I know stuff comes up and you may not be able to watch the captain's meeting right then and there when it's live, but that's why it's recorded. Before I was a director, I'd have multiple times where, because of work and life issues and stuff like that, I may not have been able to watch it right before I went to bed. But you don't have to physically see the video in order to get all the information by words. Every time I couldn't make it that night, I would turn on the video on my way to my launch and listen to the captain's meeting on the way to launch. So if there was anything that changed, I would know about it. Like, as Justin said, it's super important to watch those captain's meetings. That's how we get the information out to everybody.
Yep. Josh can tell you all, I cannot tell you how many people text me, and I'm okay with that. You all are more than welcome to. More than welcome to text Josh as well. He would be okay with that too. But
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many messages I've gone through, and people have every right to be upset. So, yeah, like that's as easy as it is, man. Like Gino said, check, recheck. Like, if it was a brand new angler in his first event, I wouldn't even be that upset. I'd just be like, stupid rookie mistake. Don't do that shit again. This is, what happens. You're DQ for the event, but move on and learn from it. But this is seasoned anglers, and so it just looks like people are trying to gain an edge. And if you can't win by playing by the same rules that we all are going to play by, you don't play here in Slay Nation. That's just the way it is. So, and follow along with that is sportsmanship. all of this is in our rule book. It's sportsmanship. It's courtesy to other anglers underwater. Uh, None of that was handled well this weekend. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm a little heated. I'm sorry, but you try to put on an event like this, and then things go wrong with the awards, where the park told me I couldn't have the awards there at last second, and I'm already feeling bad for that. So things are tough when that stuff's going on, and then you got to deal with this kind of stuff on top of it. But it is what it is at this point. So we'll deal with that on our end. Just for anybody that crosses down that line a little too easy, man, just message us. Like if you're trying to gain an advantage, but you think you're playing by the rule, just ask me. I'm not going to fish your spot. Anybody that fishes this knows I have access to fishing spots. Once the tournament is over, I go check to make sure you're fishing in bounds. That's how I knew these two anglers were fishing outside of the boundary when they launched. I checked that. Like, it's that easy just to message me and double check on something. That's it. So let's put that away. Let's hopefully bury that and not to deal with that anymore. You and I will deal with it with Frankie and the other directors, PA director, TJ, and everybody that were, our committee. We'll deal with that. But just wanted to apologize to everybody that did deal with that. We hope you had a good event still, because Josh, we can talk with fish now with Cayuga. I had a terrible tournament. We caught one big fish, and that was the only fish I caught. But holy hell, do these guys catch some fish this weekend, dude?
Oh yeah, there were some monsters caught. I still can't believe that Ewing's got beat there.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit when he came to pick up his award, and he did say he didn't think he had enough for day 2 in that spot. So yeah.
Before you get into talking about the event, there was one more message that we got about PFDs.
Oh yeah, PFDs. So I don't think it was somebody in Slay Nation. There was a lot of like wreck anglers with weird ass like Walmart boats and some weird shit going on, and they didn't have life jackets. So I think this was just part of that group that weren't fishing. But if you're gonna wear a PFD, which you have to, make sure it's like in good condition. It's an approved Coast Guard approved one. If it's all battered and torn and looks like shit, probably ain't gonna float too well either. And if you just for some reason like forget one, or you lost yours and you just picked up a old one out of the garage, just message me. I carry an extra one with me every tournament. I carry an extra board. I carry an extra life jacket. I carry all kinds of extra stuff, man, just for any of you guys that need stuff at home. Jose, I knew you were going to leave your floaters at home. Oh, he left them around. Yeah, you know what, man? If everybody could see his pictures from farther above, you would see those floaties. They probably got like pink butterflies and shit on them. But hey, maybe that's why you caught so many damn fish this weekend, Jose. So maybe the joke's on us.
I know, like I said to Justin earlier when we were going over stuff for tonight, like I know I personally, I don't know about anyone else. I try to once a year, whether it be in the pool, whether I take the kids swim or whatever, I throw my PFD on and just jump in to make sure everything's working right and it's floating. I know I'm a bigger guy. I can swim all right, but I'm not, an Olympic swimmer. If I'm 3 miles away from land, I don't want to try to swim 3 miles. I want to make sure my life jacket's working. So it's not a bad idea to at least once a year test it out, make sure nothing's like dry rotted in there, everything's still good to go. And if it starts getting toward where you think it's not going to work, please buy a new one. We want everyone out there to be safe.
Yep. And if you need a discount, I can probably help you out with that. We get discounts all over the place. So get yourself
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't Slay have one with Onyx?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's on our list.
So, and yeah, make sure you got your PFD. Make sure it's a good one. Make sure it's approved. So, yeah, let's go over the tournament, man. You want to go over ours first? And then we'll touch on a little bit after that. So, man, that was a crazy tournament. We had 68 anglers. We've never had that many anglers in a tournament, even with the Slay Civil War going on. Obviously, with the Hobie being here, that's obviously played into a big part of it. But along with that, we had the Slay Nation College Series going on, and we had Slay Nation PA kind of running their event through us. So we had a ton of people fishing this thing, 68 guys, 304 fish that were submitted. Way more than that were caught, but 304 were submitted. I couldn't even tell you how many 20s were caught, like even 19s and above. It was off the chain, man. Just stupid big fish. Our judges were busy all day. Shout out to the judges, Frankie, Jim, and who's the other one that you got at the end?
Joe.
Joe. So shout out to those guys for judging. You guys kept them busy all day. And you know you're busy when 90 inches can only get you 12th place in the damn tournament. Like that's just crazy, man. So yeah, I just wanna let's cover top five real quick. We'll go over top five. So fifth place was Jake Stem with a big fish at 20 inches and a limit of 95.5 inches. It's just crazy. So shout out to Jake. That was a giant over there. He caught on his big one, and then I still had two other 19s on the board to go with that. So great bag for Jake on day one of the Hobie and fishing with us. Fourth was not a Slay Nation member, but somebody I know I'm familiar with, Ryan Matowitz from Pennsylvania. I know I fished with him in the KFL the last couple of years. So awesome guy. And Josh and Chris will tell you in practice, this was my bet to win the whole tournament. Was Ryan Matowitz. I think he's just one of the best anglers in the country, especially up in the Northeast. So Ryan takes home fourth place with a big fish at 21.75 inches and a limit of 96 inches. So what's up, Brandon? Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate that, Brandon. And yeah, we really like having you guys, and especially Marcus. I know we don't have him much longer. Hopefully, we get him for one more event. Not sure if we do, but
I
love
think he
having you
said
guys out
Tupper was his last one,
there.
or
Okay.
second to last, one of the two.
Yeah, yeah, it was great to see them out there. And Brandon did the BOS, his first national level event, and he did pretty well. So it was pretty cool to see that. I think Marcus bested him though on day one, didn't he? On Slay. So
Um, I
maybe
really
not.
can't remember.
No, he didn't. He didn't. But Marcus did have. He had a nice bag, and he had a 19, 19 at the top. So good day for those guys.
I
So yeah,
know, I know. In pre-fishing, Marcus definitely kicked the crap out of Brandon.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, third place. That's where we got into the money. Third place was definitely somebody that's close to Josh and I for sure. One of our closest friends in all of kayak fishing and outside of kayak fishing even. Chris Nielsen takes home third place with 97
Mhm.
inches and a big fish of 21.5 inches. Just a massive fish. What did Chris say that fish was right here? Right there.
Six
21 and
point
a
four
half.
two.
6.42 was his biggest fish, man. Just,
My 21 and a half out of Cayuga was still bigger, Chris.
Chris has won a lot more money.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great weekend for Chris, man. I know Josh and myself and my dad and a bunch of us, man. We were rooting him on big time on day one of the Hobie, day two of the Hobie. So he showed out this weekend. So proud of Chris. I know you are too.
I stayed at camp Saturday night just to support Chris so he wasn't all by his lonesome for the Hobie there.
Did you help him drink the beer, or did you have to drink it himself?
Oh, I had my own beer.
Okay, okay.
It was going great till he got locked out of his van. So
That'll happen. See, if I was there, I would just smash the window for him. That's what a good friend would do. But all right, so second place, first and second were not Slay Nation members, but the guys that came from a long ways away to sign up and do this event with Hobie and then fish with us. Second place is Jordan Westerman out of Iowa with a big fish of 20.5 inches. He also had a 20 to go with that and a limit of 98 inches on Cayuga to take home second place. Just crazy limit, man. We got to meet Jordan. He came over to the campground. We got to give him his awards and talk to him for a few minutes. Just a wicked cool guy, super humble guy, man, like real chill guy. So
he's driving around in a giant Mercedes van that he throws his kayak right in. It was kind of cool.
yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask him to look inside it, but I thought that'd be a little creepy. So, but yeah, he was wicked cool. I'm pretty excited for to have him up there. He also we'll hear more about him in a minute. And then first place, what a bag, man. If you don't know who Ewing Miner is on the national level, he's one of the best anglers in the country. He's young. I don't even think he's 20 years old yet. Him and his brother fish. His father fishes. national events, and he's won several times. Uh, One of the best anglers that you'll ever see. For either him and his brother have a YouTube channel as well, so you can check that out. Great content. It just shows how he fishes. And super nice guy, real young kid, but super talented. He's definitely going to make it in this game, doing what he does. He already knows that. So he finishes the day with 99.25 inches. He'll also take home Big Bass and will now take over the lead from Josh of the Big Bass of the Year for live events with a 22-inch kicker. It's just a crazy fish. And he'll take home first place for our tournament. But that will be the standings for this tournament for us. Great tournament. I mean,
Tag
you can go
team.
all the way down to, yeah, we'll cover that. Even down to like Dale was in 11th place with 92 and a quarter. Like, just, yeah, just crazy numbers out there. So congrats to everybody that placed, everybody that caught fish. Great job out there. I know you guys represented Sun Nation pretty well with what you guys did on the water and putting up some big fish. So to go along with that, we got the tag team standings. Do you have the numbers with you?
I can in 2 seconds.
I'll let you cover that while I pull up the Hobie event.
So, for the Cayuga event, we had Team Gingerbeards, Chris and myself, with 97 inches. Thankfully, I didn't catch a fish, but Chris was an awesome teammate and carried me this one just like I did on Owasco for him to at least win me a little bit of money back to help me pay for my tire.
Yep.
Then we had second place. I pulled up the wrong one. Hold on.
You don't have it? I can get it if you want me to get it.
Yeah, it might be faster if you get it. Mine's not in order and it's not pulling up the right one. And I've got a lot of background noise going on in the other room.
I got you. Yeah, so second place was Ballsy Baiters with 93.75 inches. And third place was the Van Horn Brothers with 92.25. So Josh and Chris will take home the win. The tag team update, Ballsy Baiters will take first place as of event 3. So they will lead the tag team championships going into event 4. They're on pace to take home those tag team championship belts. They're pretty sick belts.
No, they're not.
Belts.
Jose, I'm coming for you.
They are nice ass belts. Probably Dale and Brad won them last year, and they're super nice belts, man. So we'll get those out at the end of the year. So that's a tight race between those two at the top, and then got a couple other teams right there behind them with what's the other one? Matt Osmond's Licky's Ozzy, and who's his partner? Al Morgan. So they're right there in third place, so they can still come there and try to take that from Cletus. So yeah, you guys have fun with that. I'm thinking me and my dad are already out to the running, so we'll enjoy watching you guys chase that tag team belt down. So, all right, man, let's cover the Hobie event real quick. Man, I don't know how much you watched on day 2. Day 1, we had our boy Chris Nielsen in third place after day 1, getting himself a little famous. Jay Stem was in 7th place. Bruce was in 13th. Bailey in 18th. Jose in 21st. So we had quite a few people that were up there putting themselves in a position to win this tournament still, or in a place. So how much did you pay attention on day 2, or did you pay attention just to Chris?
Dude, I was every half hour I was checking in on, our club members. I was looking at Jose up there in the top. I was looking at Chris bouncing back and forth. Honestly, I was looking at Ewing, not because he was our club member, but because I was still sour that he got that 22-inch. So,
yeah, I know I have a screenshot in my phone of the point where Jose took over first place.
oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I screenshot that. So I got that on my phone. That was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool moment. Right there, I was kind of envisioning what it would look like if Jose won right then and there. Just like the night before when I was envisioning Chris win. I wasn't able to see it to fruition, but I tried.
If Jose won, I was going to ask him if I could hold on to his trophy for a little while.
Yeah, he might not let. You'd have to fight his daughter for it. And you're not going to win that one. So she had a good time. I love seeing him and his family there. I know if I ever place at a Hobie event, I'd definitely get my family there. So it's pretty cool. I know his daughter got to meet Christine Fisher, which is pretty awesome. I got some pictures, so pretty cool event, man. Yeah, Isabel would definitely take you out. So day two was pretty crazy. I know my pick to win it on day one didn't have as big of a bag as he wanted, so he had to make up some ground. But Ryan Madowitz on day two had the biggest bag of the entire tournament, 99.5 inches, like 320s and 219s over 19 and a half. Like, what a day, man. Like, what are you doing? So Ryan kicked some ass. Jordan, the guy, he took second in our event on day one. He was up there with 97 and a quarter. Crazy to see that. Brian Nye was up there. He's big. He's a member of Slide Nation Connecticut. But some of the other guys that I know, Pat had a great day on day two. Jose had a great day on day two. Bailey had 89. I'm sure he wanted more to get himself back up where he wanted to be. But even Dan had a really good day too. So wish Dan could have got to his spot on day one and done what he wanted to do, because Dan definitely could have had a shot at this one too. So a lot of Slay Nation guys up there. I know I personally got a message from AJ McCorder today that I shared with all the other directors. I said he was pretty pumped to see all the Slay Nation. He said the Slay Nation was loud and proud at the event. They made themselves very visible, and he was really happy with that. So he's really excited to come back again to Cayuga sometime. So shout out to all you guys for that. You guys definitely showed up at the captain's meeting and the awards and on the water for Slay Nation. So shout out to all you guys. And then to finish it off after day two, Jordan, who took second with us, ended up taking home the win with a day two total of 97 inches for a total of 195.25 for 2 days. So 98 and a 97.25 over 2 days to take the win. Jake Angelis took second. Ryan Madowich takes third. So pretty crazy numbers up there: 192, 193, 195, just to get there in place. But pretty proud to see some of our guys up there placing in the top 20. Jose placed with a 13th place finish. Bailey with a 14th place finish, taking home some checks. Bruce Rodenberg was one spot out of the money with what's it, quarter inch off Ewing for 20th place, where he would have been in the money. So he had a great tournament. Nielsen didn't have a great two. I know he ran out of good finish after a good day one. Was still 27th place finish in a tournament that big. Nothing slouch at. And so I know I'm pretty proud of him. I know Josh is proud as hell of him. Everybody's pretty proud of Chris for what he did out there.
Especially with it being his very first Hobie event, and I know like it was a lot for him to come out there. So
yeah,
proud of him for showing up, showing out. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, and then one of the other guys I want to highlight too is Brandon George, man. We talked about him just a little bit ago, but Brandon went out there for a really nice bag up on day one to keep himself in contention on his first ever national level event. He put up 87 and a quarter on day one, kept himself in that ballpark where he could make a jump for first place or have a jump to try to get in that money. Fell a little short on day two, only pulled out 80 and a quarter. So I got to talk to him, see what happened there, but that's part of the issue with fishing a 2 day tournament, is trying to learn. And I know I struggle real big with the 2 day tournaments. Never done well in them. Trying to find that balance of saving fish for day two and burning it to the ground when you got to have it. So, and I know that between that, the fish pressure, and all the people on the lake probably contributed to that. But great tournaments for those guys. Some of the other guys like Aaron McDonald, I know, had a really good day too. Dan had a really good day too. So we had some guys with one good day out of the two, but unfortunately we didn't have anybody pull off the 2 day banger and take home a bag. But so some guys won the money. So some guys got to go home with some checks. So that's what we wanted to see. That was what our goal was, to give you guys an opportunity where you didn't have to choose between fishing a local tournament with us or fishing this Hobie event. You could fish both. So we tried to make it easy on you guys. We definitely learned some mistakes on this one, and I know next time if we do something like this with another series, we'll try to make it even a little bit more simple for you guys. So anything that did go wrong, probably my fault. Something like the awards location is something I didn't really take into account. But man, what an event for Hobie. I know they're super pumped about their event. Um, they end up having 134 people, 1,331 fish were submitted in that tournament. Not caught, but submitted. So probably 2,000, if not more, fish caught in that tournament. It just shows you how healthy Cayuga is. Uh, Still showing as one of the best lakes in the country, and I know Hobie will be back at some point. So just take my word for that. Anything you want to cover with Hobie?
Just I'm looking forward to actually getting to do one. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. Just to give you guys a heads up for next year, if they do come to next year to Cayuga Lake or anywhere in New York for that matter, uh, we won't be doing a double down event with them. It was hard to do. Something that Josh and I weren't thinking of when we scheduled that was that we couldn't even fish the event ourselves. So that was kind of a bummer that we didn't get to fish it. Both of us didn't do well, so I guess we're not too bummed now. But maybe I would have practiced a little bit more and put more time into it if I could have fished the Hobie. So next year you'll be able to fish the Hobie. It will not be on a weekend that we have a tournament. I'll make sure of that. So you guys will be able to do that and still fish our schedule next year and kind of make it a little bit more simple for you guys. But hopefully you guys think it was worth it for all you guys that wanted that exposure to a national level tournament. You got that opportunity. Hobie puts on one hell of a show, and they did it again. So check out the pictures on the website, Hobie BOS website. 'Cause some of our anglers are in those pictures. You might be in one of them. And that's all I have to say about that one. If you want to cover, I got a couple more things we want to cover, but anything else you want to cover about this weekend?
um, I mean, I just want to shout out to everybody again for showing up. You know, everybody put on a hell of a day. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, you know, Battlefish, Chimera, Abe Lure, Rams, and of course, we can't forget Doc's Tackle,
Oh
Jose hooking
yeah,
us up with some great deals.
yep.
Um,
Our boy
and for
Ram.
everybody listening, because I keep forgetting to make the post, and I'm going to try to make it tomorrow night after work. Doc's Tackle is giving Slay Nation 30% off all Douglas rods.
Good deal.
So,
Yeah, especially that was it the Arrow rod that I liked.
oh yes,
I
the
think.
Douglas Era. That's what the prizes are right now. Is
Yeah,
the Douglas Era rod, and I mean it's a heck of a rod. I own two of them now.
yeah. Especially for that price point. I mean, it's a hell of a fucking rod for $100, and you
So
get a
you
discount.
walk you walk in there, that $100 Douglas Era rod just became a $70 rod because they're giving us 30% off on all Douglas.
Yep. Let them know you remember Slate Nation. Go in there, buy some other stuff from Jose. Uh, and yeah, Jose. I was gonna bring it up, Jose, but I didn't want to do it. But this dude had a fairy wand in his hand all weekend. I saw it in his pictures, man. You didn't why we want to talk about this, but I don't think he was supposed to throw a swim bait. That dude was doing this all weekend long. Look at this guy. But they were at least air rods, so that's why he caught so many fish. So he had to call himself out. He sold out. I told you, man. He is one of us now. Hey, you got in the money, man. So one of us is right, one of us is wrong. So whatever you were doing was right. So Jose, we were definitely rooting for you out there, man. I mean, we were rooting for all our New York guys, but Jose, Chris Nielsen, Bailey, all you guys, man, we were pumped to see you guys out there doing well. Pumped to see you take home a check too, man. So yeah, that was a great weekend. So we'll cover that. I know we had covered some bad stuff in the beginning. Hopefully, we ended it with some good stuff. Uh, but before we go, let's give an Angler of the Year update to everybody. Something
I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see this either, but I have to. Um, so should I bring it up on the screen for everybody?
Yeah, go ahead so we can see how I dropped way down now.
You know, we should won a tournament.
Yeah, fair enough.
So here is the updated Angler of the Year standings for 2024. Josh, why don't you cover Angler of the Year, the requirements for how many tournaments you need, because I've had quite a few questions on that, and a little bit about the point system. Give a quick breakdown of the point system and how we do that. I've had some questions on that too.
So for Angler of the Year, we have 7 events plus championship. So what we're doing is your best 5 events plus the championship is your Angler of the Year score. So if you take first place, you're guaranteed 100 points. Second place is 98 points. Third place is 96 points. Those three places are never going to change. So then from there, the way we drop it down, so say you got 20 people in the tournament, you're going to take the 100 points, divide it by 20. So that's 5 points apiece. So fourth place is going to go down 5 points. Fifth place goes down 5 points, and so on until we hit 50 points. If you show up and you catch a fish, you're guaranteed at least 50 points no matter what place you're in. If you show up and you don't catch a fish, you only get 25 points. And if you don't show up or you sign up and you don't show up, you get 0 points. We did it like that because we wanted. So if you take fourth or fifth place in a tournament with 68 people, like you just did on Cayuga, we wanted the point value to be more than if you took fifth or sixth place on a tournament with 16 people.
Yep.
We felt, because that's a big deal. You just took fifth place and beat out 62 other anglers versus you took fifth place and beat out 10 anglers. So we made it like that last year, and it seemed to work pretty well. It seemed to kind of balance things out a lot more. So we really stuck with that this year. You can see on the board there, I started off strong, very first
Keep cutting your score
one with 100. What's that?
You just keep cutting your score in half every tournament. I wonder if I could find a way to get
I did.
12.5 next tournament.
I'm just going to not show up to the next tournament so I can get a 0. So,
All
but
right.
yeah, so that's how we did that. Like I say, it worked out pretty well last year. And as everyone knows, the top 10 is going to be invited to our invitational. So you can either miss 2 events if you can't make them, or you can do horrible on 2 events and still take home AOI as long as you do well on all the other events. Now, as you can see my name on there, Oneida and Cayuga, I did horrible. Those are my 2 events to drop. I got to show up the rest of the year. If I don't, my chances at AOI are slim, and that's really how you got to look at it.
Yep. But on top of Angler of the Year, if you're trying to get into the Invitational, there's only one way to get in the Invitational. You have to qualify for the state championship.
Top 10.
That's the top 10. So only these people right now would be qualified for the Invitational. If they decline the invitation, obviously it rolls down to the next eligible person on the list. But this is the only way to get into the Invitational is through this or through another club in New York. You got to be in their top 10.
And I will say this year, if I make top 10, I am not planning on giving up my seat. I'm going to take my seat on the team this year, unlike last year.
I don't think I got to worry about it. So I'm doing horribly this year. So, those 66s and 50s are they'll fall off the board once these other guys get their 5 events in. So just because you're down right now, you look at somebody look at Paul Donovan, Dale Van Horn. They missed their first event. They were busy, couldn't fish with us, and they just went out there and kicked ass in the next 2. So they are definitely in the running for the Invitational and the Angler of the Year still. Paul's doing great. He's doing great. Let me see who else is on here. Even Chris can knock out that couple low scores with that 96 there. He's doing well. So there's some people on here with some good scores that just got to knock off some of those zeros where they couldn't fish with us, and they'll be fine. And then guys like me will go back to our place where we belong. So,
and to go with this real quick, just real fast for the tag team, it's your best 4 events with your partner plus the championship, because the Civil War will not be a tag team event. So we're doing 4 plus championship for that, if anyone wants to know that.
Yep. So, let's see. Yeah. So that's Angler of the Year. Wanted to cover that quick. We covered the team standings, tag team stuff. So we're good with that. The only thing other than that I want to cover is the next event. We will do a info session maybe next week, like end of next week. Are you good with that? Maybe.
As long as it's not Saturday, because that's my kid's birthday party, it should be good.
No, during the week, like a Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
Yeah, it should be good.
Okay. We'll do a live meeting, and we will give you guys a rundown of Tupper Lake. We will talk about boundaries. We will talk about the awards location. We finally get to go meet up with AJ at Battlefish Charters. So I will talk to him this week and talk to him about everything that's going on, what we got to do. Tupper Lake, if you don't know anything about Tupper Lake, it's an amazing lake. We talked about a little bit in the beginning of the live stream, but Tupper Lake is just one of those places you just got to see with your own eyes. The fishing is insanely good on this body of water. Pretty much anywhere you go in bounds, you're going to find good fish. It's all largemouth, right? No, there is smallmouth in Tupper, right?
There's smallmouth.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
know it's
Not as
about an
many in
hour.
certain ponds, but or certain bodies of water in there, but
It's
there's definitely
about an hour and 10 minutes from my house. So one of the my favorite places to go fish for fun, and I always have fun when I go out to Tupper. Like it doesn't disappoint.
there's some big ass fish in there, especially the largemouth. But hopefully everybody can get out there, fish Tupper, do the tag team. It's gonna be a good one. Uh,
Jose,
and
I'm glad you got kids graduating.
we got a chance. Uh, yeah, so it's gonna be a good one. Come out to Tupper Lake, come fish with us. You can get signed up. Sign-ups are back online. Square away with that. PayPal, we're still trying to resolve all those issues. We're getting closer to getting that all squared away. Um, Part of the payouts are already done for this weekend. We got some of them still to go. So still working through that. But yeah, you guys can get signed up for Tupper Lake. Come fish with us. There's a lot of guys probably that are good fishers that you haven't fished against yet. Guys from up north in the Saranac area. So definitely you're going to see some other competition out there that you haven't seen before. So I think that
Uh,
people are good. You got some big anglers up there like James Stewart, um, and those guys up there that are going to be coming to hammer down with us. So looking forward to that one.
Speaking of, you were talking tag team. Just to throw it out there, in case anybody has noticed, there's been a couple events so far that the standings have been kind of off on tag team, and we've had to go through and manually add everything in. Um, Dwayne got a fix for it. From the sounds of it, everything should be all right going forward. So Tupper's kind of going to be the trial. Hopefully, everything works out. Um, we broke Tourney X like 2 or 3 times on him now with our tag team events. So hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully it's
going.
all right now, and you'll be able to actually look at it and tell where you are at without having to wait until we get home and do the math.
Yep. Yeah, I think that'll be fixed going forward. Unfortunately, the team brawl that's going on, the season long team brawl, because it's already going, I can't change anything to fix it. So if you didn't get the email, check your email today. If you're in the team brawl, once you hit your limit of fish that you're allowed in the end tournament, I have to remove every other fish manually, but also just let you put all 20 fish on the board for your team. Um, so I am manually having to remove fish. If you for some reason had one that gets like DQ'd and now you don't have 5 fish, I can still pull up the ones that we remove. Um, I accidentally removed one of Josh's today, if you didn't notice, and I had to manually re-upload Josh's fish for him. So
Yeah, I
you can
was
do that.
working. I never saw it.
Yeah, so I fucked up your standings for you. But so if you're in if you're in a team brawl with only you and one other guy, it's your 10 fish and his 10 fish. You can't have 15 or 18 and his 2 or 3. It just doesn't, trying to make it even. If you're in a 4-man team, like me and Josh, all 4 of us got to put up 5 fish. So go look at the tag team brawl. The standings are updated. They look a lot different. Team Bass is kicking some ass right now. James Stewart and all those guys are kicking some ass. But I know the Hobie hookers are ready to go. Once Nate throws 2 more fish on the board of any size, they'll be back over 400 inches. So that is still the marking point that we all need to hit now. Anything else you want to cover tonight? I know we hit 45 minutes instead of a half hour like we were planning, but we had a lot of shit to talk about with Cayuga, stuff
I
coming
mean, I
up later
know.
in the year. So
Just giving some false hope. Thanks, Jose. I appreciate it.
he needs
No, I think I'm pretty much set. We covered pretty much everything. I know, like you said, the beginning of this was kind of rough. Um, we're trying to run a fair club for everybody. We're trying to show the utmost respect for all of our anglers. We're trying to show sportsmanship out there. Our biggest goal when we took over this club was that we want to keep growing it and we want to become something great. You know, we strive to be as good as clubs out there like NYKBF, and we're going to keep growing and keep doing what's right to get us there. So if you think something's unfair, don't be afraid to come talk to us. You know, we're going to do whatever we can to make things right, to make them fair, to do the right thing. We're not out here to screw anybody. We're not out here to have anyone else screw anybody. Like we want this club to grow, and hopefully all you guys want to continue growing with us.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like you said that pretty well. But NYKBF is, to me, the standard, the club standard, not just in New York, but one of the best local trails all across the country. So I've kind of always trying to mimic what I do off of what Justin Hausner and John and everybody in NYKBF does, man, because they do kind of set the standard. Uh, and it sucks when you got to make decisions like this, but we're just trying to keep, like you said, the integrity of our tournament series in check. Um, and we're not trying to accuse anybody of doing anything wrong. Just, if you do something wrong, man, like you got to live with that yourself. But at the end of the day, too, you're causing other people you're ruining their tournament, their weekends. It's really not fair to everybody else. So just want everybody to do the right thing, be good sportsmen out there. Hopefully, you guys don't hold grudges against us. Um, Trust me when I say that I and Josh do not want to be in this position making those decisions. Uh, Unfortunately, somebody has to.
I'm not gonna lie. I already don't like talking on the actual phone itself. So having to make phone calls for issues is even worse, and it really sucks. Like it, especially when like the person's such a good guy or good, you know, somebody you're friends with. I don't want to deliver bad news to anybody. You know, somebody's out there, they're having a great day. Heaven forbid they took first place and then something happens and we have to take it away. Like those are the calls I don't want to make. So just know your rules, follow your rules. If you're not unsure of something, double check. Like second guess yourself on some things to make it so you're sure you're doing it the right way, I guess is how I want to say it. So
Yep. And if you can't play by the rules, this ain't the place for you to fish. It's just the way it is. It's that cut and dry. So there was too much money on the line. We are not fishing with seven guys and $100 at stake on a weekend tournament drinking beers together. We're talking several thousands of dollars that are being handed out.
and that's the thing
So,
too. These tournaments keep growing, and the more these tournaments grow, the more eyes are going to be on the tournaments. Whether it's the other anglers, whether it's people at home watching. Like we've gotten messages. The event on Oneida, we got the message afterwards before we could double check fish already about some issues going on. That's how it was brought to our attention. Like there's eyes everywhere, so we're not the only ones looking at things. But if you do have an issue and you bring it to our attention, Justin and I want you guys all to know we're gonna take it serious. We're gonna investigate. We're gonna do whatever we got to do to justify the situation. Now maybe there was no harm, no foul, and we rule it that way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's our decision to make that, but we still want to be fair to everyone. So we appreciate everyone's patience and sticking it out with us.
yep. Yep. Hope everybody will continue fishing with us, keep growing with us, man, and keep learning as anglers because, it's something that I think a lot of us have been talking about lately is just how far this club has come in the last 3 or 4 years, not just as the number of anglers that are fishing, but the quality of the bags that people are putting up. When I won Angler of the Year 3 years ago, you couldn't win a tournament with 88 inches like I did. It just you can't do that now. Like people are just too good. People are figuring the fish out. Electronics are better, and these guys are coming on board, man. They know how to fish. So yeah, I got mine somewhere. I don't know where I have them, Brandon, but those high Hobie glasses, those are the bomb. All right, man. Appreciate everybody sticking with us on here for almost an hour. Definitely not the way we like to ending things sometimes. Or talking about these things with a great tournament going on, but it's also something you just got to deal with at some point, and we want to be open with all you guys about it. So you're here to hear you. We don't want people hearing it through hearsay and playing the telephone game. So if you didn't hear it off the slides, and you didn't hear it at all. So that's all we're going to say about all the bad stuff. Hopefully you had a great time at Cayuga. I promise you'll have fun at Topper Lake. Come fish with us. If you don't know where to camp or stay, somebody already posted on the Facebook group, so there's a bunch of comments in there, but there's plenty of places to camp out. So everybody get up there for that event. Awesome. All right, man. Well, I'm going to go get some food and get ready for bed. Long day work tomorrow, but thanks for jumping on with me, man, dealing with this and then going over the results. It's pretty cool to highlight our English success that did well. It was great to root them on. I know I'm not just talking out my ass, but I'm saying this like Josh and myself and my father and everybody at the campground. We were rooting for you guys in the Hobie event, especially on day 2 when we were sitting. I was sitting at home watching standings. Proud of all you guys for the work you put in and being awesome at the awards and at the captain meeting for Hobie and showing up for Slay Nation. I've seen all the Slay Nation jerseys everywhere, so it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Frankie, Josh, Jake Stem, TJ, Swaney, Slay Ray, all of us that put these events on. So appreciate all you guys. Hope to see you at Tupper Lake. Keep on fishing, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Later, everybody. Tight lines.